right. So someone tell me something good from their week. It's my positive side. I just have to ask.
Yeah, that's a big thing to see too.
Nothing?
Okay, I got 2 providers into PDIS this week. Ta-da!
Awesome.
I was excited about the snow that we got
We
this.
still under the weather, but we don't have COVID.
What snow? What team toddler?
We've been sick, but it's not COVID.
Well, there you go. I guess that's good, right? Sick, but not COVID. Who else? I'm excited about an email that went out today that said that the credentials will now be, they'll make a determination now based off the documents that you upload. So if you have specific kinds of attachments, they're going to do a very quick approval on that, which is very exciting to me because that's what we were asking for, is like some kind of automation in that process so that you can very quickly get people placed in the roles that they need to be placed in. So I consider that a huge success today. Anything else? We've got some new people coming in. Anything great you want to share from your week or even good? Go. I got a dog barking at me. Yeah, no. Fine. Sorry, guys. Okay. So who thought of something that we didn't cover in this class that you want to hear about? Yes, Louise.
So I was wondering, like, because when you were talking in the marketing class about you were reading from a screen that had on it about it was I think you were reading from a different let me see. Oh my gosh, my brain. Okay, you were talking about how I'll get back to it. Let me read. I'll get my spiral notebook and figure out what I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Don't believe me, we all have days, right? Who else? What else do we need to talk about before this class is over? This is week 6, like you made it. So what is something that's a burning question for you, but not burning enough to send to Hannah, apparently? Just saying it. What else do we need to talk about? Okay, Louise.
Oh man, I'm not a mess or anything. Okay, so it said I wrote down federal stimulus town hall presentation. Okay, you were reading from that, and I saw it on the screen, but and I read and I heard the information that you were talking about it, but I didn't know where you got that information. I looked for it in the Google resources, but I didn't see it in the resources for the Google Classroom, and I didn't know where I can find out about that.
Okay, yep, I can, let me double check. I've got a drive for ECEA. Let me look in there and see if I've got it shared in the public folder there. If I do, I can just give you the link. Yep,
Okay.
there it is. Let's see here, which one? So you guys heard that the E&E grant is going to close, right? Maybe. I can't see you and search for this at the same time. Oh, I see this. Yeah. I think Tony's probably like, in a way, right? Because that's been a huge amount of her workload in recent months.
But it's not good news only because there are so many providers that are still emerging, that are still growing, and it's just become highly competitive. So since Friday, I have done absolutely nothing but E&E. It's rough.
believe it. And for our home providers, there are a lot of home providers that are struggling because they're still waiting to get free of their zoning restrictions because people are not following the new laws, right? And so that's a concern too, because it's opting them out of the opportunity to ever receive these funds.
And
Yeah.
many emerging providers that are just awaiting their license number so they can apply. And that has taken so long, it's basically knocked them out of the running.
Yeah. Off the record, would wonder what an attorney would think of that. Just saying.
Along with fingerprinting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to put in the link here. We've got the presentation saved in our ECEA file folder. So rather than tracking it down anywhere else, you can find it there. And it goes through all of the different options that are coming, right? There are a ton of grant options that are coming out. Sustainability funds are going to be hitting accounts within the next month, right? Let me actually pull that up so that we can discuss that. Come on.
Really quick about the E&E grant, just a question.
Yep.
If we've already applied, are we like okay? Or I mean, I know it's more competitive, but since I've applied, should I be worried?
I know. I think you should call me tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. I've been granted some new access to add notes to the application. I had a one-on-one Zoom meeting with Melissa Frank Williams today.
Okay.
To voice my concerns. And yeah, I want to talk to you. That would be really great. I just want to be able to add notes to your account along with your licensing specialist.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tony.
Sorry, I missed.
Yep.
So what's happening to the emerging and expanding grant? It's going away?
Yep, it's going away. The last day, they're closing it off on November 1.
Oh no.
So,
They've closed it off November 1 and funds are leaving quickly. I was assured today that yes, the state has requested more funding within this grant, but also that with the American Relief Funds, other opportunities could be rolling down late winter, early spring.
yeah. So it's a lot for them to focus on, right? It takes a lot of bandwidth for them to do those grants for sure. It did create more than 4,000 spaces. I'd like to, I need to sit down and evaluate what we have in capacity now versus a year ago, right? That's what I need to look at because it doesn't tell us how many people have closed. And the capacities alone are not going to tell us how many programs are functioning at half capacity or that sort of thing either. So we really do have incomplete data on what's going on out there right now in workforce. But we do know that funds are coming. So on this, I wanted you guys to see, because this is what I was talking about in the newsletter today for ECEA. And if you're not signed up for that and you want to be on that distribution list, go to eceacolorado.org, go to our website, and just find where to sign up for the newsletter and I'll get you on there. But really for the sustainability funds, this is what they're showing us, right? That you can qualify for, that you're going to receive over a 9-month period. It's based off of capacity and your quality rating. Oh, it is freezing. Sorry. So the top columns are the total grants that you'll receive over a 9-month period. And on the bottom, it's the payments per month. But I really just was very concerned that a lot of programs are going to go, whoa, now I can use funds to like hire people, right? What happens if you raise someone's salary by $2 or $3 an hour? And then when the money is gone, you go, sorry, I got to put you back to what I can afford. Do you think you're going to keep them for staff? Probably not very long, right? They're going to make a mass exodus out of your door. The other key thing to remember about these sustainability funds is courtesy of your governor, my governor too. Half of the funds have to go to offset the costs for families. So that's not going to be a different kind of hit for you with taxes and stuff, right? Because you're getting the money from the grant versus receiving it from families. But you really have to you're going to have to track for sure to show that you've put 50% of those funds towards family fees. So just keep that in mind. Think about how can you sustain staff? What are the things that you can do? Also think about, you can set up an account for this grant alone, right? Because that can be a massive amount of money for you to manage depending on the size of your program. And so if you want to keep those funds separate so that you can pay close attention to them, you are absolutely able to do that. The other thing is, you don't have to spend these funds in 9 months' time. You can prorate this over the next 2 years. The funds have to be expended by the end of September 2023. So by then you have to be able to show the justification of how you spent all of the funds that came to you. So anyone who has a large center and hasn't been doing the sick leave. Remember last week we talked about the sick leave for employees, right? If you don't have 48 hours worth of paid leave, like set aside for each of your employees, you might want to take some of these funds and designate it for that right now, and then use that on their if they're sick, then you can use those funds for that purpose, right? But you got to be careful because you can't leave them as unused funds in the end. So think strategically. Talk about insurance, right? I know that insurance for programs can be a tightrope, an absolute nightmare, right? Because you have to meet the requirements of the federal requirements for insurance. But for larger programs, I know one program where that means that 14 of his 200 employees are insured. He has to do that at an affordable rate. And if too many of those employees that are qualified go to the marketplace instead and shop from there, he runs the risk of having IRS penalties in tens of thousands of dollars, right? So you really do have to make sure that if you're required to provide that insurance, that you're doing that at an affordable rate, but not tipping the scale too much, right? Because if too many people really do take that insurance and the costs soar on you, then that can really jeopardize business as well, right? So you have to be watching all of these lines and figuring this out. But maybe you can use some of these funds to offset some of your affordability of insurance. Now, how do you do that equitably for all of your staff so that they feel appreciated though, right? So you have to be thinking about equity and fairness and equality too, not just equity, but also equality in all of your financial decisions for staff. But anyway, you can do incentives, right? For them to, if they stay on with you for the next 2 years, every 3 or 6 months or whatever, or at the end of a month or whatever timeline you want, you can give them a bonus because they stayed on with you, right? You could do all kinds of things like that. You could do a special bonus where if a staff member draws in a certain number of families for care or brings you a new staff member, right? You can incentivize some of these things and just put them out there as like a stated bonus policy in advance that's going to help you to expand your program and get people in and get things back to normal. I'm going to stop sharing this so I can see you because it makes me crazy. So there we go. What do you think? the key is really don't just put it to the bottom line for income, right?
I have a question, Dawn.
Yep,
So half of this needs to go to our family. So as being like family childcare, we just give them like a credit, I mean, for tuition.
yep. You can spread it out over those 2 years though, right?
Okay. So what about, and those are those only the families that are paying my private rates? Because it's like, what about like CCAP? I mean, do I
Only
help
thing
them
you
out
can
on their
pay-
parent fees or?
You could use it to offset parent fees, yep.
Okay,
Actually, the feds, what they were hoping for, what the stated requirement for ARP funding is to wherever possible, and especially for your lower income families, to pass some of those savings on to them. That's what the federal law said, right? And then it goes to the governor's office and comes out with this 50% requirement. So I just say that happens to be a ballot issue right now on your ballot, right? On whether or not you want the governor to be able to just make designations and decisions by himself in terms of grant funding and donations and all kinds of stuff, or whether you want the state legislature involved in that. I'm not telling you how to vote. I'm just telling you, go and vote, because that's a pretty critical issue, right? Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So we have to apply for the sustainability grant, is that right?
Yeah, they did say there was going to be a very basic application. So
Okay.
as soon as that comes out, we'll let you know. I sent out my newsletter because someone told me that they got a W-9 tied to that, and she was on my board. But the W-9s that they received were actually for previous funds, not for the pending funds. So that's a little confusing. So I apologize for that. But they are going to announce the vendor, and you will receive correspondence from the vendor. They're going to give you specific guidelines, and they're also going to give you some things to think about for tax purposes. So that's everything that they've promised. So we'll be watching for that. I just want people really thinking, right? Think ahead of time about all the possibilities and the really good ways that you can use this to build your infrastructure again and to really make a difference for your staff and families.
Okay, and then how are we supposed to, or what would you recommend documenting the money that's going to the families with? Or how are we going to how should we keep track of it?
I would keep track of the date, how much the credit was, and for which families, what the total amount was there, right? Because here's the weird thing about that. What is the tax liability for your families then? It's kind of a weird place, right? My husband does taxes. He's like, whoa, those families should have to pay taxes on it. It's free money for them. But it seems like it's kind of this workaround or something. I don't know. So a lot of that's going to wash out with time, and we'll see what happens. I call them vote for your governor money, right? Your families have free childcare or discounted childcare. That's political prerogative, I guess, you know? I know we're being recorded. I'm not being all that politically correct. Sorry. You guys won't tell. What else?
So I'm a
Okay, so on the Fed, okay, go
oh,
ahead,
sorry,
Laura.
I was gonna say I'm a director of a large preschool, so I have about at the moment 200 students.
Oh.
So if I wanted to just be basic and, you know, say we get 60 grand to put towards the families, can I just divide it for the 200 kids and say everyone gets roughly like just under $300 like of this credit and do something like that? to make it?
Do it any way you want to,
Okay.
yeah.
There's no stipulations at the moment that we know of. Okay.
Nope, not right now. And so really, yeah, if you want to do it all in one shot, you can do that. If you want to spread it out, you can do that, whatever. I just really want you to think about all of the possibilities. And be careful not to undermine yourself in the meantime, right? With the whole staffing thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
So something that we're considering doing with the money that has to go towards tuition is, because right now we don't offer 100% tuition reduction for our staff. So we're considering sponsoring, I mean, and we would inform them that there's an end date to it, but
Right.
temporarily funding the staff tuition.
Absolutely. My question on that is, how do you even things out for your staff members that don't have children?
They don't have tuition, so.
Okay,
they
and
need.
that's fine, but I just want you to think about and maybe build in some incentives for whatever, for everyone to be able to access one way or another, just because I don't want you to have disgruntled staff because they're like, well, some of that money could have come to us for these other purposes too, right?
Right. I guess just being transparent then and making sure that they understand that it couldn't have, because it has to be used for tuition.
Yeah, well, and here's the other good news, right? Because it's not like it's one funding pot that you have accessible for them. There are going to be scholarship opportunities, right? 101 and 103 somehow magically are going to be free to everybody in the state. I say magically because I had a meeting with the chair of the early childhood department at Arapahoe Community College, and she was like, do you have any idea how that's going to happen? Just kind of laughed. I was like, yeah, they'll hire a vendor and eventually they'll communicate to you how it's supposed to happen. And in the town hall, they did say that if you're taking 101 or 103 right now, that it would retroactively be reimbursed for you. And so she was like, do you know if that's true? And I said, it was said in a town hall. So I'd go back and watch it and time and date stamp it and say, you said on this date at this time that was going to be the case. And then they have to. But that's going to be like, there's all kinds of opportunities that are coming out of that, right? The opportunity to do college classes or to take Pyramid or Equid or all of these other things, and to be able to do that with grant funding is going to be pretty amazing. There's also circle grants that go for local innovation. So if you have a really creative, innovative idea, there's about $9 million that's going to go to that. That's a competitive grant process as well. So really the slides there that I shared with you, it's all of the different ways that they're going to do that. And then they still have how much? Tony, do you remember? It's like 10 million. There's still like 2 other grant pots that they haven't decided yet what they're going to use them for, and they'll have to be approved. So
they even have air quality grants coming. So,
it
What is that air quality?
crazy.
Oh, question about the air quality. Yes, I did remember that.
Basically, the only information I have thus far. Let's see, which page is it on? Oh, that's free director qualification training. Lots of mental health.
While she's looking, can I ask you guys a question? For directors, are they going through the old director letter process, or are you guys just credentialing them? Okay, I'm just gonna say, if your directors are going through the old process of getting a director's letter, you're kind of crazy, right? Because in that process, you are required to have additional continuing education through the college system every time that you resubmit for that, right? which is absolutely crazy. Because if you go through the credential instead, it's much, much easier. And it can be professional development like this class, right? That's going to count towards you getting the credential level that you need. So just something to think about. Tony, did you find it?
I did. The Indoor Air Quality Improvement Grants. This activity will fund childcare providers to update or replace inefficient or outdated heating, ventilation, and air conditioning units to provide clean, filtered air for children in care. Indoor quality has been proven to improve both short and long-term outcomes for children. Affecting not only physical health, I don't know, all of that. These grants will not only positively impact the health of children, they will also support the stabilization of the childcare sector in the state by reducing utility costs through increased energy efficiency and by increasing the return of families enrolling their children in care through the evidence-based COVID safety protocols. The amount of funding is $3 million.
Is that coming out of the state health department?
It's not actually health department. It actually came from the Office of Early Childhood.
I didn't see that one yet. That's interesting. Very cool. Okay. So on the federal level, things are kind of shifting now, right? Before there was this strong push for the child care entitlement program and for universal pre-K. I have a sense now that they're probably looking at maybe the universal preschool and not so much the child care entitlement program that they were looking at, because now the news articles that are coming out are saying things like, you're going to completely undermine the child care industry if you do it this way. Because if you pay higher for anyone who's doing preschool, if you pay higher wages for that, then who's going to take care of the infants and toddlers in care for a much lower rate, right? So initially it was over $3 trillion that they were talking about for the Reconciliation Act. And now I've heard between 1 and 2 trillion, somewhere in there, right? They keep kind of waffling. They're behind closed doors having all of these conversations and trying to figure out which part and which piece to keep. There is a ton more in that bill than just childcare related things. And so it'll be really interesting to see how this goes. But they did say, like, you've probably seen it, Biden economics, right? Where a $3-something trillion bill costs people nothing, right? So you don't have to go far before when you turn on your TV, you're hearing about this battle that's going on every day. So, yep.
Oh, I was gonna say that they were talking about how they were still gonna have the same programs, but they were just gonna shorten the time that it would be available. So it's kind of like giving you free drugs. Like they give you, they're giving you a sample of what it's going to be like. And then when people get addicted to, free childcare or free classes in college or free whatever, then they're going to be expecting it. And, like later on.
Clamoring for it. Yeah.
So that way they wouldn't cut off people, because then the people already heard about it. And so they're like expecting this is what's going to come. So they're going to be expecting to have some of that. But then when they have to renew it, who knows who's going to be in office by then or what kind of arguments they're going to have then. So
yeah, it's a lot. Yep. Liz,
Are we talking just Colorado or the whole
Nope.
nation?
The whole nation.
That's good. Mhm.
And there's a lot of infrastructure set up in that too, right? And so a lot of people say it is good, and it could potentially come out as a good thing, right? But I'm going to tell you what my concerns are, right? I don't see anywhere in the equation when they're talking about the things to consider when determining how much they're going to compensate programs for doing care. I don't see anything in that says that there's going to be a profit margin. So if they don't factor an owner's profit into that equation, where is the incentive to open a program and go into the free market and build a program and build your quality so that you're better than the program next to you? If really the state is going to decide that regardless of which program, you're all going to get the same amount. To me, that has the potential to undermine the entire industry. So, and there's not really any conversation around that, right? It's just, oh, trust us. We'll work all those details out later. So those are the people who are paying you 80% instead of 100% market value, right? For CCAP care.
Before you take out all the absences and missed swipes and all that.
Yeah, right? And so, so I have a hard time going, okay, I'm going to trust you to do that and do that well for all of the businesses in our industry. It's kind of scary. It's like Obamacare, all of the medical requirements and all of the things that are tied with that, right? Doing a program on that scale for childcare. So I don't know. I don't have the answers, right? I don't know what the answers are. This is not a new question that the childcare industry is facing. We have always struggled with this, and every nation struggles with this question. Okay, so are you guys ready to do some group time so you can visit and catch up with your groups? And while you're in there, if you have more questions, think about them and bring them out of group with you and we'll talk then, okay? Go for it. Let's hear it.
We were talking about the credentials for a director through PDS. So, okay, I feel I'm lost. I have my director certification through through college. Then you can get it at PDS without going to college. That's what I don't get. I didn't know that. I have to go like years to college to get all these. Oh, wow.
No, you do not have to do that anymore. Where's my, I'm looking, sorry guys, I got it.
All online. You don't even have to go anywhere. It's all online.
Yep.
And what about your?
And so under the new PDIS and the new credential 3.0, you just need a level 3 credential. And I'm looking for the fancy little graphic paper that shows. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. So when you log into PDIS, you guys see this, right?
Yes. We can,
I don't see it. I just see it's so shiny.
it's so blurry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so blurry.
Background
Hold
blurred.
on. I'm like, let me go find it for you. Hold on.
You know, and all my PDIS stuff is on a different computer, so I can't even pull up the email. You guys all should have gotten one today. If you're on PDIS, they sent one out today.
Oh, that was today's email.
Actually, so I'm gonna share with you the Google Doc that they sent out that gave you the like the rainbow type, you know, the qualifications, the rainbow thing that everyone likes so much. They've got that for directors too. And so I'm going to give that to you here in just a second. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, back in public file. Hold on. Large center director. Okay. Do share, get link.
Oh, this one.
Okay. So now I'm going to put it in chat.
Okay, see.
Thank you.
There we go, right? So that came out today because they also modified the affidavit that you can use right now while they're behind on credentials to include assistant teachers and to include directors, right?
Wow.
Not just ECTs. So again, that's 2 victories in one day. I'm like, we are on a roll.
I have another question related to that. If you do you have the option to do director with special needs? Do they offer that?
Well, I mean, so director with special needs,
Like,
I mean,
because I'm pursuing to get my degree, my bachelor degree in early childhood education with special needs.
okay.
So do
So
they have
that's great because that makes you more marketable, right? That gives you more credibility in a program when it comes to dealing with families with special needs, right? And so those are all great things there. It might, for a program, mean that you can make a little bit more money as a director, or it may not, right? It just depends. There's nothing in the system in terms of credentialing that's going to get extra standing because of that extra piece, right? Unfortunately. So really being a director is kind of just all the same, right? But it is going to make a difference for your families and the services that you provide, right? And the supports that you provide for your staff. So do not discount what you're doing because it's going to make a huge difference. But when it comes to it, so you guys you're all looking at that document, right? And you see all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pathways to become a center director. Oh boy, me and the glasses, I tell you. So bachelor's degree, a level 4 for a 2.0. Why did they put this out with the 2.0? No, okay.
Hey Donna, both documents that you have shared is about grant information. The second link also is just the grant information. I don't see the director one.
Oh, guys, sorry. Sometimes it doesn't capture it once. So let me grab that again. Thank you.
They should get that email.
Yeah, but here, let's see here. Copy link. Okay, now let's try it this way. There we go. That one's different. So there we go. Thank you for calling that out. All right. When the level 2, so in the 2.0, you had to have a level 4, but in the 3.0, you have to have a level 3 credential. So if you do just that, then you are going to be director qualified. And so what does it take to be a level 3 in the 3.0 credential? You have to have 3 components, right? And all of this is on, because it's hard for me to talk and look that up at the same time, right? It's on the PDIS system where you go for credential information off to the right, right? You can find this graphic there. So you need points from at least 3 of these areas. So if you have formal education, which the fact that you're in college taking other classes, you guys have degrees, right? So if you have a degree, you're going to get points there. Ongoing professional development like this class is going to give you points here, and your experience is going to give you points there. So if you just upload that information every 3 years, reapply for your credential, that's all it takes to be a director. And you have to have 36 to 50 points. Easy peasy to be a director now. You're crazy to ask for a director's letter. And they're really ugly now anyway. So who wants them anyway, right?
So Dawn, do we just have to go to PDIS?
Yep.
Or do we need a coach to guide us?
You're supposed to be able to just do it. So there was another email that came out today, right? The one where they talked about where you need to upload your documents and stuff for credentialing. Did you guys get that or no?
Is that after or before of that?
That came out, that was at about 3:30 or 4 o'clock today.
Okay, so that was the late, okay.
If
Early
you-
workforce
If
challenge.
you don't have it, you can shoot me a message at ECEA or you can ask Hannah and I can forward her the email and she can get it out to you. Okay. Because it gives you very specific places to upload things and what you need to do, right? They're giving you specific steps for that. Follow the specific steps. And hopefully access to PDIS will start loosening up, hopefully.
Yeah, because that's the problem.
Hopefully soon.
where to
Yeah.
upload it and how to upload it would be the issue.
Yeah. And so they really did go into specifics on that. So who checks the certification for this?
I checked for my emails. I didn't get any.
Okay, Hannah, I'm gonna forward that to you. Is that okay? And then you could just include it in the body of,
Please.
that would be great.
That's the same email you use for PDIS. I said, I have many emails. And so I have my personal is where I get all of my stuff from PDIS. So it could be a different email account, but if you have an active account in PDIS, you should have received them today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I had my personal email, but in case I log into the other one because I had everything in my phone. So I was checking right now and I don't see any.
Well, and I will tell you that directors will get homes. We're not getting it. Like the couple home providers that I spoke to today did not get it. So yeah, frustrating. So I have so many email accounts. I'll find it afterwards and send it to Hannah and she can get it out to you guys tomorrow. So did you guys get each other's contact information? Do you know how to contact each other after class?
You didn't do that.
You can also use
were
the chat
talking.
feature in the classroom if you're wanting to share any information, emails or phone numbers or anything like that. That goes out to the whole class.
Okay. You guys can be a support to one another for years to come, truthfully, right? And so I think that's a pretty exciting thing. And rumor has it that if you run into a rough patch in business, guess what? You can get consulting. You know how much it costs? $0, right?
Team Toddler, what was the question you asked? I missed it. Must be in the chat.
To the people in my group. Oh, okay.
Oh, no, before that, it was Team Toddler.
Who checks the certification? So CDE is actually tasked with verifying all of that. But the nice thing about the email today, it said if you upload your documents in the right place, they're going to very quickly approve that based off the uploads. So it sounds very much like it's almost automation, which is pretty exciting. Because that was our argument all along. Why shouldn't this be automatic? If you're uploading documents, then they can be reviewed after the fact. So pretty exciting to see. Yeah, so you can always get consulting from anyone at the SBDC, right? Have a marketing issue, you can get support there. Have QuickBooks issues. No one ever has QuickBooks issues, right? Got an amazing person. Carol helps with QuickBooks issues for sure. So just always remember that that's available to you no matter what, right? So then tell me what was really helpful about the training and what you would like to see different next time for other people.
I'm excited of the LLC.
Nice.
And the question is, how many hours are we allowed for help for those legal? Because Hannah sent me and they were like 30 minutes, 1 hour. Can we only use one legal person?
No,
or we have to pay after that?
Yeah, you can continue to make appointments as long as you need. If you continue to have questions, it's always free, always available.
So there's no limit? Oh, good.
And that's true for all of our consulting. You can always, and we encourage you to keep coming back and keep using us as a resource.
So those lawyers will get paid of the time that they spend with us?
They get paid at a different rate. So yeah, through our funding structure, it's kind of like midway between volunteering and getting paid. Like they get paid some.
For me, hey. Different scale.
I also want to bring up, I'm glad you brought up the LLC. That's what we talked about last week. And Brittany let me know that there is a scam going around right now. And this happens, we hear about this every so often. So it's just something to be aware of, that it is out there, that you know, after you register as an LLC,
Oh,
pay the $50. That's all you have
Oh,
to
this
pay.
one?
Yep, that
Yeah,
one.
it might be that one. If there's something that you know, they come back and say you owe more money or anything like that, don't do it. It's not real. Like they said last week, all you do is you pay your $50, and then I forget exactly what it was. I think it was like $10.
$10 every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To keep it, you know, reinstated. So just be aware of that. And if you feel like anything's ever fishy or you're just not sure about something, you can send it our way at the SBDC and we'll let you know if it's real or not.
We need to build that into the future trainings to remember to tell them that,
Yeah.
because every time it's an issue, right? It happens every time.
Yeah, they're asking $70.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I read the fine line. It's not through the state. It's not an agency.
Yeah,
It's not
I got
about-
that. I got that same thing, and they sent me right after I applied, and it's I think if it's the same thing that you have, it says on there that they can print out your certificates for you.
For
Yeah, and
$70.
you have to pay, but it looks like something that you need. But if you don't know that you're on the, if you're not computer literate, it looks, oh, I guess I have to send them this $70 or whatever, and then they're going to print out your certificates for you and send it to you. But you can do that yourself, right on the Secretary of State website. Yeah, it's right there. And so I mean, it's not like it's illegal for them to have that business, but they're.
There is an ethical issue to it, however, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just something to definitely be aware of. So thank you so much, Brittany, for bringing that up. And like I said, if you ever have any questions or just not sure about something, feel free to ask us.
And here's the beautiful thing about consulting. I'm a consultant and I use consulting sometimes, right? I like to be able to go talk to someone who is business minded and to have a conversation so that I can process something that I'm working through or trying to figure out for myself, right? You don't come to consulting so that we can sit there and go, here's the answer for you, right? Like, it's not what that's about. But if you come to consulting, you're going to get people who are going to sit here with you and ask you, have you thought about this? And what do you feel about that? And what, right? Just to kind of walk you through that process and help you to think about what you're really trying to solve for yourself. That's a huge, valuable tool for all of us. So never hesitate to do that. I think it's pretty exciting. So you liked the LLC. What else did you guys really like? Do you like the group breakouts?
I like the group breakouts, but I would like to talk about how I had a one-on-one with a gal for QuickBooks because I had never really dabbled into that. And I set it up on a Saturday morning, so I didn't have to do it during the week. And
Perfect.
we did it over the phone, and she helped me. She was looking at her computer, I was looking at my computer, and she helped me set it all up. And I use ELV, and so actually today I just had a training with them to help me link all that stuff with my QuickBooks. So that is, and the lady was so nice that.
Was it Carol?
Yes, it was Carol.
Carol is amazing.
Yes, and she's like, if you need anything else, please. And there was some questions that came up when I was talking to LV, and I wrote them down. So I'm going to try to set up another meeting with her.
I am a huge Carol fan. Like, I threw some really good, perplexing things at her, and I will tell you, like, she was like, that, I got to do some research on that. I will get back to you. And she did within the day. Like, she had answers to me and sample videos and all kinds of stuff. So I'm glad that you had that experience with her, because I actually had the same kind of experience. Amazing. She takes that fear of QuickBooks away from you, right? Like, and makes you feel comfortable and capable very quickly.
I know, because I didn't want, I'm like, I don't know, should I press this? Because it like had submit and all that. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I feel comfortable. She goes, just do it. It's okay. You know, we need to learn this. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, and super nice. So, and then another thing came up, I'm going back to the child care stabilization grants and how we need to pass on half of that to families. I wanted to ask, because I have some families that recently with all the CCAP changing and stuff, that their fees, parent fees went to zero. So how do I pass that on to them? And
You don't, because they're already getting fully subsidized care, right?
I don't include them because I thought maybe I could help with like, I don't know.
No.
That I can't do that.
It really is supposed to be to offset the cost of tuition. So, I mean, if they left it broader, there would be some really creative things we could do with it, right? To benefit families, you could create like a lending library for books or toys, right? Like there are really great things you could have done with it, but the stipulation really is that it needs to offset tuition.
Okay, so the fact that CCAP, I mean, they don't have to pay fees, they've already benefited from some of all that already.
Right.
Okay.
You guys, that was an oversight on Hannah and my behalf, or I'll say my behalf. Sorry, Hannah, not throwing you under the bus. But Melanie, you're right. Like with Team Toddler, they are transitioning from a home to a center. And we did put them with other home providers instead of with center providers, which was our mistake. And so who is out there in a center who feels pretty confident and comfortable that would be willing to provide their contact information for them to provide them support as they transition into a center? Okay, if that's you, will you make sure, so Prenal's stuff is there in the chat, so you have their contact information. Anyone else that's willing to like be that kind of support for them, if you would just like put your information in the chat for them so that they can get some extra support there. And then obviously you guys, you can contact us for consulting to get some support as well. Sorry about that, guys.
And ECPAC, of course, will help you, Team Toddler. You're so lovely.
Of course. We gotcha. Thank you, Meg.
Dawn,
Yes.
you were saying half of the money. What's the other half for?
So the other half is for you to sustain your business, right? And to sustain your staff and all of that. So they're going to give really specific stipulations with the grant when they put it out there. So I just say read the fine lines and make sure that you're using it the way that they specify. So for homes, that's going to be a little bit different because you're not necessarily going to have staff, right? But they really are trying to sustain the business and to sustain workforce through this effort. So really read the fine print and just follow through on that. And if you have questions, reach out to us. We'll help you figure it out. We're all trying to figure all of these out as they come out. And they come out sometimes different than what they were originally presented as, right? We've had some of that happen as well. So
after this class, how do we access you guys? Do we still have that classroom link or whatever?
So the classroom will stay available to you all for the next 2 weeks. I wrote down the date that it's going to close out on the 28th. You have through October 28th. If you want to download any of those materials, you can still access that. At that point, we need to we're starting another class, so we need to turn it around for the next class then.
Yeah.
But as far as reaching out to us, you can always connect with us through email or phone.
I'll just email you directly and Dawn. Okay, that's perfect.
yeah, and I'm just gonna put it in here. Here's the website for Colorado ECEA. You can go on there. That's where you can sign up for the newsletter if you want the weekly childcare update, because I'm putting that information out there for you guys. So that's where you can sign up for that. Or, just email me through there is fine too. So whatever you want to do. What would you like to see different? So we got the one to really pay attention to when someone's transitioning from one program type to another. What else? What can we do differently that would help to improve the training for you? For someone else, you already did it.
I think for
That's so
me,
great.
oh, sorry.
No,
Go
sorry.
ahead, Delaney.
I think for me, I just also because I'm so new, I feel like I needed some explanation, like you were explaining it to a kindergartner. So I sometimes like when a trainer was talking, I was like, okay, back of the bus. So I don't know if it's like, they should be more, I don't know if it should be like two separate classes for people that are like already really far into it and people that are really new, or I mean, I still learned a ton, but there was a couple times where I was like listening and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So
Yeah, I agree
With
with you,
the
Delaney.
organizational structure stuff, is that what you're thinking of, or?
yeah, I mean, partially like just I'm thinking like the insurance stuff, which eventually I caught on, but I don't know. I I can't think, but like I feel like some of the trainers when they came in, it was like they were starting at a higher level of what I understood.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate that because I think we can simplify some of those things. I think maybe with the organizational structure, a lot of that information you guys probably don't even really need, right? I mean, even she was saying, this probably won't ever be applicable to you guys. So if we cut out some things like that, that'll probably help to focus it in a little bit. Okay, anything else? Okay, you guys, I'm telling you, I said it from day one. You guys are superheroes in my book. You get up every single day and you walk out there and you put on a smile every single day, right? And you go and serve families and children in really tremendous ways. And so it has been an honor to spend these 6 weeks with you. I hope that it's made a difference for your business. I hope that you'll reach out if you need any kind of additional support or anything. But do not give up, right? Go out there and fight this COVID thing, fight all of these crazy changes, stand tall and stand proud because you're making a difference. So thank you. So if that's, I mean, so Hannah, you have like final stuff we should do, right?
I do have, yeah, several actually we need to talk about. First thing, they're all quick, so don't worry. But the first thing, most importantly, I know many of you have been asking about, can you check on my PDIS? Is this right? We found a workaround because it was so weird with how that's working. So all you need to do is fill out this survey that I'm putting in the chat right now with instruction. Oh, it's formatted really horribly in the chat when I copied and pasted it. I will include it. I'm going to put just the survey link, but there's step-by-step instructions. First thing when you go to the classwork section in the classroom, step-by-step instructions with the link to make sure that you fill out the one specific to our class. And you get entered to win a $20 gift certificate to, you get a couple choices of stores. I think it's like Target or Walmart, some of those things. So you just have to fill out that survey. I'll also include the instructions in the email tomorrow. So that's it. So don't worry if you haven't gotten registered in PDIS, just like, don't even worry about that. Just focus on getting this done. But you do need to get it done. You have through the end of the day this coming Tuesday. So you have several days to get to it. But at that point, I'll send the list of everyone who was in our class, and our contact with PDIS will match it up with the survey entries that they have received. So that's how they're gonna, do that cross-checking to make sure that you took the class and you did the survey. So any questions on that?
If we're already registered, do we still have to do the?
Yes, good question. I would have not even thought of that question, but that's a really good one. Yes, you still have to do the survey. It's pretty quick though, and it's really helpful for us to get some feedback on kind of like what Dawn was asking, like what was helpful, what wasn't helpful. It's not actually submitted to us, so we don't see the results for quite some time. It's initially submitted to the state, but then they give us some of those results. So it helps us kind of track our courses over time so that we can try to provide the best experience. So yes, still make sure you do the survey because that's how they're going to be checking. I don't know if she's even going to look to see who registered anymore. I think she's just going to check the list I send her compared to the survey results. So great question. And yeah, Luz?
So when I can print my certificate, so go to PDIS?
Yes, that will be directly through PDIS. And there is usually a delay in that, like a week or so. So if you don't see anything for a little bit, don't panic.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes it just a little bit.
Okay, so you're
I'm
not sending
assuming
us
as with
anything.
everything with
So
that
you're
system,
not sending anything. We have to go to PDIS and print it.
Yeah, it'll be through them because they're the ones who are the certifying agency. Yeah.
Okay,
Great
this
question.
is completely a side thing. On the classroom, I don't know how it happened, but it has my husband's name in the class attendees list. So yeah, I don't know
Okay.
how that happened.
Yeah, that's fine. I will take a look at it if I can fix that. It's probably actually I don't know. I thought I might have an answer of why that would happen, but I'll just fix it.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't know why it came through and it was kept on jumping over to my husband's email, and I was just like, I don't know why this is going on.
Do you guys share a Gmail account or anything?
No, I have one and he has one, but he was logged. We have a Surface computer and he was logged in and I was logged in as well. But I think he was the primary person on Google Chrome. I have no idea. I don't know. It did some funky stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for bringing that up. We'll fix that. So any other questions on that? Okay. The only other thing, actually, I guess these other things we mostly talked about, and I'll include them in the updates tomorrow. The only other thing is I was contacted today by someone who has taken this class previously, a couple seasons ago, I think, and she is actually ending her program. So she's having like a going out of business sale, basically. So I just wanted to throw it out there. If anyone who is starting is looking to buy any sort of like she has some curriculum, she has like I don't know any of this terminology, you can tell, but like the side-by-side buggy thing.
Where's she located, Hannah?
That's a good question.
Do you know the name of her program?
I can tell you, just let me get to her profile. It's this weekend though, so it's coming up pretty quick. She's in Westminster.
Really?
She did send it to like the Jeffco childcare group.
Is she a home?
She was a home. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I wish I knew.
I
who
think
it
I
was.
know who. Stay on at the end, okay?
So if anyone is interested, I can put you in touch. I can just forward you the email with the stuff that she said. It's just four of the big ticket items that she let me know about. So if that's of interest to you, let me know and I'll pass it along. Just wanted to put that out there in case anyone is looking.
Good way to make use of your funds, right?
Delaney, I
Maximize.
was gonna say Delaney.
Yeah, I'm interested.
She's like, send it my way.
Yes.
Guys, we have a new class coming up, right? And so if this has been helpful, if you would tell other people that they should sign up, then we would love to have more people join us and learn. So more people to laugh with.
Yes, definitely. I'll include the link to our page where they can learn more and register. So it's easy to pass along if you do have anyone in mind. So those were actually all of my updates. So thank you all. Dawn said it all. We just are always so amazed by the work that you do, and that on top of all of that, you're working to improve your business. It's really inspiring and amazing. So thanks for letting us work with all of you these last 6 weeks. And please, please, please come back for consulting if you're ever, curious about something or struggling with anything, or if you want to, we also love to hear about your successes in your program. So just, keep in touch, and look out for that email from us tomorrow.
Remember to do your annual meetings in a year, right? Do the stuff that you need to do. Don't forget about that stuff. So yeah, and we're gonna give you half an hour of your time back. So Hannah and I will hang out here for a minute in case you have more questions or anything, but you guys are free to go. So thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you so much, ladies. I appreciate whatever you have done this last 10 weeks and the fun part is we got connected with such a new faces, and it's fun to see that we all are on the same boat, that we will go through this craziness and come out shining. So thank you so
There you
much for your
go.
time.
Perfect. Awesome.